presentation is called Avenues of Abolition. I chose this subject because it represents my experience through the whole workshop all year. It also encompasses what I did with the classroom, with the students, and also I think it's the basis for the theme of the paradox of liberty and equality, and the great question: how could the founding fathers of this country, who valued freedom so much, how could they enslave others in the way that they did and strip them of everything? So I chose people that we studied throughout the year, people that are the real heroes, and that many of them were local to our region, keeping in mind some of the Massachusetts frameworks. And I chose quotations that either support the theme of the workshop throughout the year, or that can be used in the classroom. So I especially like the ones that use the language of freedom, because you see this one, I made it really bold, because David Walker's appeal was very bold, and he says, "See your declaration, Americans. Can't you understand your own language? You know, you're talking about freedom, but what are you doing to us?" And Frederick Douglass, also there are different levels of sophistication here, but some can really lend themselves to the classroom, where he speaks about not knowing his birthday and the day he was born in his narrative. "I have no accurate knowledge of my age." So again, that can lend itself to a lot of activities with the classes. And what this represents are the different approaches to abolition. I come from a background in language arts, so I have a larger portion here for the written word, but some wrote novels, newspapers, essays, poetry. So this is one approach to eradicating slavery. I just love some of the quotations from Harriet Beecher Stowe, where her response to the fugitive slave law, where she says it's a shameful, wicked, abominable law, and I for one, because the character who says that is a representation of her possibly, that I will not follow it. And so then others turn to the law to fight against slavery. Some turn to the sword. And what I like to point out is that many of those rebellions did not turn out well. So there's a lot you can do with that, with bullying these days too. And this is the flight, the Underground Railroad. I highlighted local areas right through Southwick and Westfield. These are documented by the David Ruggles Center and others. And then here are the speakers, the societies, the schools. I love his quote, because they use education. "A man who can read is not likely to remain a slave." And the sea. We studied so much about how the sea helped them get out of slavery, and they did their patchwork quilt. This is pictures of them working on it. And we made a book about the Underground Railroad. They did the illustrations, and they really helped me put this together. This is something we bound ourselves, but there are places that will help you do that in the classroom. And we started out with this, and which they love, a great big book, and then we ended up with that. And the last, they just love this last page that we found, because after they get freedom from the 13th Amendment, they have the glossary with the new words for them. They get, this is what resulted from true freedom, and all the people that have experienced the benefit of what these heroes did. And they just love to look at this picture and find people they know. And it's just been a great, great experience for all of us. They love the activities, as many of you have mentioned. They don't want to stop. They want to just keep going and do more, and they even came in from recess and wanted to finish their book.